Hey guys, how's it going? 118 Seth Shadow here with the final Market Watch update of this year. Thank you so much for continuing to watch my channel, and for those of you who subscribed or liked, commented on my videos, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I hope to continue this in the next year as well, as I just want to be sure I can provide people with good updates and also some insights on what they can pick up, what's going to be good, and just kind of leave some food for thought on what to expect down the line when it comes to card values. Essentially, I just want to be able to have fun with Vanguard myself, and I want everyone else who's watching this to also have fun with Vanguard. But with that said, I guess before we get into the market watch, I'm just wondering what you guys are planning for New Year's too. I hope you guys have some nice stuff planned out. Or if you're just gonna head out to locals like me, that's always fun too. I wish I did have something for the evening of New Year's though. I had some plans, but I waited way too long and didn't get my tickets in time. They already sold out. So, we'll have to see what happens for me, but my sob story aside, let's go ahead and get into it. So first thing I want to cover is a bunch of spikes that happened with Lutetia support, starting with Clear Shimmer Aura, who is now a $16 double R minimum with only 3 listings available. And these listings go up to $21 right now, and that $16 listing that I mentioned before is considered a lightly played. So if you're looking to pick this card up right now, you're better off looking at the frame rare. Right now, there is a copy for $4.30, and there are some more copies that are still available for under $17 if you want to pick them up. Essentially, they're currently cheaper than the double R is, and there's a fair chance that you're going to see more double Rs hit the market with this kind of discrepancy happening. Then Cursed Sugar Sparkles FR. This is one of the orders that you need for playing Lutetia. It's a rare for its base rarity, and then it's got an FR for its higher rarity. But this card sells for about $8 right now. There are some listings that are starting to get out to $10. But ultimately, still not horrible for an FR that's meant for a deck that usually sees a lot more meta play. So not a bad pickup if you do want to pick up FRs of this. Now things get really rough. So one of the main support cards, Nostria, it has a triple R, which is currently on Ideal 808 with 2 listings at $7.58. But there are 3 listings after that, and they start at $25. Once this listing is gone, yeah, this card is going to take some time to make its way back down to a more reasonable value. 25 seems overstretched for something like this. And the same thing happened to Lutetia. We've got a listing for $13.74, same seller, Ideal 808, before we've got it at $25 here too, and it's a large number of copies of them. The other thing is, they've actually sold. So, best to pick this up now while you still can. I'm not going to say much more, as maybe this is going to be outdated by the time I finish recording. Bard of Heavenly Song Alpec. The reprint of this card is now $6. We have a few $5 listings available now. And then if we take a look at some of the other listings we've got, the card originally came out of set 2, where it's $6, $7, $7 for the holo, so that's not bad. And the number of listings is still pretty high. We've got 15 for the rares, 12 for the reprint version. The problem is the SP is sold out. If we take a look at listings on this one, we're looking at 35 to 45 for the last listings that sold. And I know for a fact that this thing sold above 50 in the past, so if you see this above 50, it will probably go. Just keep that in mind, but if you want SPs, you're going to have to look around for a little while until this gets a few more listings, which I assume will start at about 60, and that's not going to be good. Then for Basagra, we got a few more support cards announced recently, so I wanted to take a look at one of the staples of the deck, the Sealed Blaze Spear. Aditya is $2, just over $2 to pick up for its base rarity, and it's got 16 listings, so still pretty plentiful right now. The SP and the BSR, on the other hand, are down in quantities as we're looking at 2 listings and then 1 listing left for the highest rarity, the BSR, at $200 right now. $70 for the SP if you want to pick that up. It's really just a difference then of what kind of background that you want for the card, because the SP utilizes the actual background effect that the whole Boss Saga line uses versus this, which is just a red background on the back. But this setup uses the actual Boss Saga has a signed imprint on it rather than just being an SP like these. So depends on which one you want to get for which aesthetic that you'd like to pick up. But if you're just looking for low rarity, it's pretty affordable right now. Then when it comes to set 1, there are a few things I want to go over for this one. Starting with perfect guards again, but this time the SPs. So there are 5 perfect guards in set 1 that you can pick up, and all 5 of them have an SP version. But there's some discrepancies when you take a look at how they compare. Listing-wise, Aegismire Pegasus. Please tell me that's a Pegasus. I don't understand how this card is a dragon. And then Planar Prevent have the highest number of listings available of the lot. But when you look at listing prices, Aegismire is actually cheap. It's still under $20 for at least 2 of its listings right now, before it actually gets up to $25. So if you do want to pick this up, I assume if you want to take a risk with this guy, I'd say give that a try, because given that these are SP perfect guards and SPs no longer exist, I don't think this card can get much lower. When you take a look at some of these other SPs in the overall set as well, but before I even go through that, Recusal Hate Dragon, which has historically been the lowest value perfect guard of these SPs, is finally starting to disappear from the market. There's only 1 listing at $25, and this card has historically stayed under $15 for a little while before just steadily, oh wow, it's more of a spike. But if we take a look at it from a yearly basis, it started at 20. Okay, so it stayed pretty consistent at 20 and stayed at a low of 18. But given that it got to this level, there were likely listings that were 15 or lower for a while. But ultimately, yeah, if you wanted SP Recusal Hates, you might have waited it out too long. Just taking a look at some of these other SPs, because set 1 has really lofty SP values. Dragvedia has been bought out to $100 for 1 listing. Eldo Breath is now $500 to pick up, and I should point out, someone did buy a copy at $150. So if you do see more listings come up, they will probably start listing around $100. But if you find one for $50, you might want to snatch it up, as I don't think it's going to get much lower. Some other cards to keep in mind, Bobble Mine is still something that you'll always want to keep an eye out for. Now that Bushiroad has confirmed some new promo reprints of main set cards, the problem is Bobble Mine wasn't among them. So that could be contributing to why this card has finally breached $20 in sales. I'll bet it's only had 2 listings that sold that way, but it's gonna be a pretty consistent 20 unless it falls out again to 15, which it might. But the chance of that happening now is getting lower and lower. So 20 might end up becoming the norm for a while, as we're looking at Eva continuing to be a consistent force in the meta, And we have the monster, the kaiju lineup coming up too. And the SP of Bubble Mine is down to 3 listings. We have one under 40, but it's listed as lightly played. And then after that, it becomes a $60 card. The problem, though, is that Bubble Mine's not selling very well on its SP side. So this one does have the potential to stay at $30 for a little while, unless there's just an enormous buyout, and that will just end up destroying the whole mold there. And then just kind of looking at the front page for some of the SPs, Hexorb Sorceress has 4 listings at 30 minimum. The Cardinal triggers are low on listings, and Nabulum in particular is just really high right now. Rancor Chain, we've talked about before, now only has 2 listings starting at 50. And yeah, Set 1 SPs are just getting really high up there. So if you really wanted to pick them up, try to see if you can find random deals on them. They may pop up here and there, like Rancor Chain had a random deal, Black Husk had a random deal. Keep your eyes out, because these are going to be sitting here for a while at these high values. Thank you guys again for watching, and I will see you again next year.